Good morning, afternoon, evening, whenever, everybody. How are you? Are you okay today? I hope so. Now, there's a slightly gloomy day out there today, so I'm hoping the camera will be okay today. Yay, Monday! Welcome to another week. Is it Monday? I so lose track of days. I'm pretty sure it's Monday and a whole nother week. It's got a little bit chilly. So I think, I just get snuggly and comfy. I think I'm probably going to have an at-home day today. I've got a few bits and bobs. It's kind of slightly my running around in the neighbourhood day today. So I'll do all those. And then in the little gaps between, sometimes I get a gap of half an hour between people. Sometimes I end up with a gap of 2 hours. I think I'm going to plough on and I need to start on I still haven't started on my lavender bags properly. So I think I'm going to attend to that in my little gaps, whenever I get little gaps today. Before I do the calendar, I'd like to say a couple of thank yous. I've been having lovely cards from folk, thank you. Oops, they're all up on I'm starting to put them up on the chimney. I'll show you that tomorrow. But Lisa, I had a little package. Thank you so much. No, I'm not going to squish it and squeeze it. I'm not going to try to guess. I'm going to put it under the tree. I don't have a tree. Isn't that daft? I suppose that's just an expression, isn't it? Pop it under the tree. I always say that. And I mean, I literally haven't had a Christmas tree here. Oh, gosh. When was the last time I had a Christmas tree? Maybe I think it was about 8 years ago. And I wouldn't normally, it was actually an artificial tree that was spare to someone. And, or maybe it was more like 2014, 2015, can't remember. But anyway, they lent it to me and said, you must have a tree this year, because it was my third Christmas on the trot that I was working. So yeah, in fact, the whole time I was nursing, I always worked Christmas. A lot of people don't volunteer. They really don't want to work Christmas because they want to be with their own families, and I completely get that. But for me, I always thought, well, you know what? I don't have my own kids. I've got no one at home, so I'll volunteer, and then hopefully that means one of the other girls, nurses, can have Christmas at home with her family. And actually, I used to love Christmas on the ward. Christmas Day, Boxing Day was always a nightmare. Yeah, Boxing Day was always a nightmare. I'll tell you why in a sec. But Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. Now, on our ward, a lot of the patients would be on the ward for months at a time. But in the lead up to Christmas, you know, as far as possible, excuse me, I've got a right royal tickle today. As far as possible, we try to see if we could get the kids home for Christmas, either discharged back to the care of their local hospital, or even if they were, you know, still needing treatment from us, see if we can give them even a couple of days leave to get home for Christmas. Oh, it chokes me up to think about it. You know, that's so massive for the families. But for those kids who could not get home, actually most of the time it was most of them. Now, generally speaking, as I've mentioned before, it's an isolation ward. These kids, the majority of them have virtually zero immunity. So really small things that we can brush off like a bit of a cold can be fatal to these kids. So we are really, really, really scrupulous about germs. And because of that, they have, when they first start on the ward, they have 2 nominated extras who can come into the room other than nursing and medical staff. And as you can imagine, for the most part, that will be mum and dad. depending on how the kids were doing, one of the joys for Christmas was that we could relax just for one day, so long as everyone had been vetted, and sometimes have, say, the siblings join them or grandparents, but only if the kids were at a stage in their treatment, if they were, far progressed in their treatment and, their counts and their numbers were up and all that sort of thing. So it was always lovely. There's always a lovely atmosphere on Christmas Day. We have a playroom on the ward, which actually most of the kids can't use because they're in isolation. But what it would mean is that for Christmas Day, the siblings could all be in the playroom. We'd always have a play worker there. It would all be decorated so the siblings could feel special too. Because, for the siblings, it can be really hard. Firstly, why is my brother or sister not at home? Why are they getting all these new toys? Why are they getting all the attention? What about me? So we're really mindful of that. So siblings all playing in the playroom, mums and dads in the room with their kids. And on Christmas Eve night, if we're on the night shift, we'd sneak in and decorate. Now, I have to be really careful with the decorations. Everything has to be a solid, smooth surface that can be cleaned, obviously. Everything has to be new. But yeah, we'd go in, decorate, and leave presents on the ends of their beds or in the ends of their cots. So lovely. And pretty much every kid, one of their parents would stay and live with them in the hospital in the same room. So the parents have a little sectioned off place for their bed behind a curtain. And I used to love it Christmas morning, especially if I'd done the Christmas Eve night shift and I'd been in to my patient's room decorating. I get all emotional just because it's so lovely. Invariably, mums, dads, they wake up at 6. They wake up at a silly o'clock in hospital. And you might ever so slightly hear if you've got your room tannoy on open, so I can hear if the kid's crying or whatever. Little squeals. And then invariably, a mum, all dishevelled with her nighttime hair and her pyjamas buttoned the wrong way, would come out with the biggest smile on her face, because even before her child has woken up, she's seen the presents on the end of the bed or in the end of the cot. So magical, so magical. So yes, that's why I did have a tree one year, because one of my friends said, you really need to have a tree. Excuse me a sec. Oh, sorry. Super annoying tickle today. Yeah, so Christmas Eve, I think the Christmas Eve night shift is possibly my favourite shift to do. And you'd kind of hope, you don't want to prod anyone, but you kind of hope the kids wake up before the end of the shift. So I generally leave the ward about 8:30 in the morning. But if my patient hadn't woken up, I might hang around till 9. Come on, wake up. I want to see your face when you see your presents. Lovely. Boxing Day. Oh my goodness. So any of you who've had kids or grandkids will know that suddenly, they turn into crying, screaming brats on Boxing Day, don't they? They've had all that build-up of all the excitement. Christmas Day has been bonkers. Presents, probably in terms of sweeties, probably more than you would ever normally allow them to eat. So they're having these sugar rushes, and then Boxing Day, boom, they're miserable. So yeah, I always used to try and avoid the Boxing Day shift. Look, the way I see it, I volunteered for Christmas, let me have Boxing Day off. Great memories, really, really great memories. What a privilege to be in their lives on that particular day. So lovely. Oh, joyful, joyous. Oh my goodness, right, I'm going to park that, because otherwise I'm going to do my own remembering, spinning off, thinking once I've turned the camera off, because I'll no doubt need a little hanky too. Like I say, not sad tears, just, happy tears, remembering. So, yes, that all stemmed from saying I'm going to put Lisa's present under the tree. Even though I don't have a tree, I'll put it under my pretend tree. Also, I just wanted to note this card from Jacqueline. Isn't this lovely? She's hand-coloured this complete. I don't know if you can. It's ever so slightly sparkly, the colours in it. Can you pick that up? Now, and every single star coloured in. Now, I've got to say, Jacqueline, you are a much neater colourer in than me. That's so cute. I opened it yesterday and I stared at it for ages. I think she's got to have messed up somewhere. She's got to have scribbled outside the lines somewhere on here. No, she hasn't. Thank you so much, lovely. You know I appreciate. Thank you. Right then, should we open the advent calendars? What is the date? We're on the 14th, aren't we? Oh, got it straight away. It is getting easier now. There are less windows. What's behind the window today? Let's have a look. Snowman. Of course, a snowman. This is kind of harking back in a way, isn't it, to what I was saying about Dickens and him writing snow into his Christmas stories. The fact is, we just never have snow at snow at Christmas is a freakish event for us here in London, and actually for most of the country, unless you get to the really high areas. Yeah, we just don't get snow at Christmas. But when you think of all the, I'm just looking over at my Christmas cards now. 1, 2, 3. Oh, Christmas scenes of course, Christmas scenes, but of snow, snowy gardens, robins in snow, snow-covered pillar boxes, cottages covered in snow. It would be nice to have a white Christmas at some point again, wouldn't it? Oh, and are we all going to hum White Christmas? Oh, love it. Yeah, that one I was mentioning, it was, I can't remember whether it was 2009, 10 or 2010, 11, when we actually did have a white Christmas. And I was still a student nurse. Yeah, because when I broke my, when I dislocated my elbow, I was coming home from a shift and the hospital was quite far away from me. So it's sort of a walk, a bus ride, and then a train ride. And I think there were only 2 trains an hour. And I was so I was on the bus, getting towards the station, and it's getting closer and closer to the time of one of the trains. And after a long shift, all you want to do is get home. So I jumped off the bus and I legged it across the road because the bus stopped on the opposite side of the road to the station. I was legging it across the station forecourt and just went whoop in some ice and landed on my arm with my arm sort of straight outstretched, and basically these little bones decided to go oop and stick out of the back there. It was gruesome. I won't go on about it. But yeah, so I think it was that Christmas. So I was in a cast and I was over at a friend's house having something to eat and drink on Christmas Eve. And I was thinking it's probably about time for me to wend my way home. It was about 10 in the evening. I looked out of the window. It's the first snowflakes. And we were both like, oh my goodness, snow. And it carried on and it carried on. So I stayed, I kind of, hung out with my friend a little bit longer, sort of a couple of hours or so. And it got to midnight, which meant we were going into Christmas Day. I was like, I really have to go home. I walked home through the park. It was so magical. It was so magical. And what was glorious was there were tons of people in the park. It was midnight, for goodness sakes. But they were and it was all grown-ups, and they were all doing exactly like me. Everyone was just going, trying to make snowballs with the first. It was really snowing quite heavily. There was a good amount of snow. I'll never forget that. So yes, I would love a snowy Christmas again one day. There is something super magical about it. Oh, let's go this way. Right, number 14. I can no longer see which books it's straddling because we've opened so many now. When Michael Bond... Oh, this is going to be so cute. For anyone who knows who Michael Bond is. Do you know who do you know what Michael Bond wrote? I'll tell you. When Michael Bond saw a soul teddy bear left at Selfridges on Christmas Eve in 1956, he felt compelled to buy it. You can't have an orphan bear, can you? This would later inspire his first Paddington Bear book. Oh, I love that. I absolutely love that. I had no idea that that's how Paddington was born, but I just love the idea of a grown man in Selfridges seeing the last teddy on the shelf and thinking, on Christmas Eve as well, so that teddy would have been on its own on Christmas Day, because we all know this, don't we, kids? The toys are alive. They need homes. That is ridiculously cute and adorable, isn't it? Oh, I'm thinking about teddies and bears in general now, and last things on the shelf. Oh, that's really cute. And you know, actually, how appropriate is that window today? I'm going to put it down there. How deliciously or wonderfully appropriate is that today, when I've just been thinking about all the kids at hospital over Christmas. Perfect. I am about to get really emotional, so I'm going to say cheerio for now. Actually, I think we'll call it cheerio for today's video. Keep it nice and short and sweet, and yeah, let's all just go off and enjoy our memories and thoughts of, because I know a lot of you, your kids are grown up, but just memories of when the kids were little and how bonkers they go at Christmas. How wonderful, how magical. Yes, kids, Father Christmas is real, and yes, kids, toys are actually alive, so treat them nicely. Give them hugs and love. All right, beautiful people, I will see you again tomorrow. Yeah, we'll have another window. Who knows what it will spark? But I think I need to go off now and give all of my teddies, well, my one teddy, a quick little cuddle and have just relax into some lovely memories of the days when I was at work with all those really special kids and families. So that's it. Take care of yourselves. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.